Well, I am just a man from a virtual land where the keyboards and mice play. Where you puncture your ear where a squeaker is near. It's horrific, and yet we play. When you scream about cheats, yet say mods are the best, there the salt concentration is right. Oh, come now, don't you cry, you bear witness to why we're playing the Blades of the Right. Blades of the Right, just made it deep inside us. We're rich so you rot, you're salty, we're not, cause we make the good plays. Blades of the Right, just for righteous dudes. We'll fight and fight hard, and I am your bard. I shall see you soon.
Well, hello there. Who am I? I am but a humble bard. I travel to far-off and distant virtual lands and then regale people about my adventures. Have you ever heard of the tale involving this treasure? No? Well, perhaps another time. For today I have a different tale to tell. One involving a battle of good versus evil in a turn-based struggle for a kingdom. What is the name of this struggle, you ask? Well, there are some who call it Blades of the Righteous.
As the game begins, we're introduced right away to our story and goal. This was once a peaceful kingdom until the evil portals started showing up and producing evil creatures. The king of this land is currently rallying his forces to aid in dispensing justice to these evil invaders. However, the orc leader is raising his own army to destroy all we love. So, we have two objectives. Objective 1 is to destroy the portal and bring about the enemy leader. And Objective 2 is to defeat the enemy leader. Pretty simple, huh?
Oh, and if anyone should ask, I'm telling you this whole story on Medium. So, with all that in mind, let's begin, shall we?
King Tutorial is here in the corner and decides it's part of his kingly duties to instruct us on how we should go about playing the game. For starters, we need to hire peasants from around our kingdom to fight for us. But we also need to train them. Along the top of the screen, you can see what resources you have available to you and use these to do things like training peasants, acquiring more gold, or to see if later on in the game you really can afford to give 6 food to a neighboring village. The bar next to this represents the enemy army, and as it fills up later on in the game, the army of enemies grows larger. If it fills up the meter completely, it's game over. So it's really a good idea to battle enemy troops and keep that from happening. The icons next to this are representations of things like your army barracks, inventory of weapons and armor you find from battles or events, heroes hired, and the options menu, just to name a few. Speaking of barracks, you're able to train those peasants to 3 class types: rogues, mages, and warriors. Each class has different pros and cons to them. The rogues are low health, but offer high critical hit chances, as well they can poison enemies. Mages offer options for high offensive damage, as well as healing support. Good mage play can really turn the tide of battle and save some of your other units from being picked off, but they too have low health. The warriors are truly your brutes, for they have the higher health and so they can take more damage. They also can be trained to deal more damage and stun enemies, which is very useful when looking to focus down an enemy quickly. Something else very important to be mindful of is that your different units can all be taught up to 4 different skills. All the skills can be leveled up through repeated usage, and you start with 1 skill by default. The real joy here is that depending on your playstyle, there are countless options and combinations of individual troop skill sets, as well as troop combinations to take into battle. Battles are initiated in the overworld, and as this world is turn-based, you'll find that the overworld has random events that happen each turn. All of these events can be seen on the right-hand side of the overworld, and selecting any option other than going to the castle uses a turn. For now, let's delve into one of the game's battles, and I'll explain how you can put some of your own strategy into this world to save it. Once you're in battle, every choice you make either ensures your victory or can spell disaster for your team. You're able to move any of your units a set number of spaces per turn and either attack or use one of your abilities listed on the left of the screen. For example, you may want to move the warrior closer to the enemy and use his shield ability so that he gets focused for damage, and has a higher defense to block damage. Then you could use the mage's damage buff ability on the warrior so that when he attacks, he does more damage. By using these abilities in battle, you're also gaining EXP for them and leveling them up to make them stronger. After each battle, you're rewarded with gold and possibly gear. Like I said, I'm telling the story on medium, but if you were to experience it hard, then the rewards would be greater. You can then use your gold to teach your units new abilities or to train new units in your barracks.
So now you've got the idea of overall how our story in this world works. I think it's about time I tell you about my own dealings in this realm and how I came to get here.
I'd been fighting for some time when my troops discovered a portal's location. We proceeded to engage the portal forces in combat. Focusing the portal before more enemies could be spawned from it was paramount. With my warriors and mages working together, we were able to succeed, however, in closing the portal. And after the battle, my forces told me that I would be alerted when they discovered the enemy orc leader. So I began training my units for this conflict. We battled many other enemies and recruited a crafty merchant after a lucky sequence of random events. Finally, I was told that the dreaded orc leader had been found. I felt my party was sufficiently ready to defeat the Scourge, and so we filled our mana and energy reserves and headed into battle. But we were no match for him. We were unprepared for his ability to summon more orcs to his aid. And so we were defeated, one by one, until all of our forces were annihilated.
So that's how I ended up here. A lonely bard, telling the tale of how his kingdom was destroyed, overwhelmed by the orc leader and his forces. But wait, you, stranger, perhaps you could defeat the orc leader where I could not. I know. I will leave a link for you below that will take you directly to the Steam portal. Travel there. The journey is sure to be harrowing and filled with amazing music and adventure, and it will only cost you $3 of your dollars to get there. So what are you waiting for? Go! Set forth for adventure and victory! Besides, you travel with the blades of the righteous.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed everything you saw. Today's video was pretty special to me. Today's the first video that marks very strong, significant influence from my friend Jasmine here. Jasmine recorded, or helped me record, every single one of the live scenes you saw today, as well as gave me a bit more feedback on the script and kind of helped me really put the video together. So I really want to give her a big thank you. She's going to be my new film person on the crew, and I'm going to be starting this as more of like an actual studio type of thing. So I hope you guys can, enjoy the future productions and see how the quality improves now that I have some other people besides myself working on the videos. But beyond that, I wanted to give a big shout out to Vladimir, the creator of the game. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to review it and kind of reaching out to me on Twitter. Thank you so much for making an amazing game and being so responsive to your community. I really commend you for that, because every time someone seems to give you some feedback, you really take it to heart. So I'm going to leave a link down below to the Steam page for the game Blades of the Righteous, and I'll also leave a link to Cold Wild Games. But yeah, if you've liked the video, please feel free to give us a like, thumbs that up, baby. I really would appreciate it, or share it with your friends. That really means the world to me. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. It's not a requirement, but you'll be missing out on a lot of cool stuff if you don't. Anything you'd like to add, Jasmine? She's my silent shooter. Doodles!